Hello everybody, and welcome to today's video. Today we are currently one day away from Election Day. Tomorrow I should be releasing my final prediction video. However, today I wanted to address some more local and other elections uh, for November 4th of 2025 that are worth mentioning. There's a lot of interesting things to mention. However, if I guess we'll first start off with the California Proposition 50. Now, I'm not sure if everybody knows what that is, but I think quite a lot know what Prop 50 is. But it is labeled as the Election Rigging Response Act. It is led by Democrat Governor Gavin Newsom of California. It was passed with him in the legislature, and it is a ballot measure that people would vote on in California to get rid of the Independent Redistricting Commission, to let the Democratic legislator and Gavin Newsom create a new congressional map that lasts until 2031, which is when when the census would happen. But the census would happen in 2030, but they would be effective until 2031. And then it would go back into the Independent Redistricting Commission. This was, I believe, something that Arnold Schwarzenegger passed when he was governor, and the state voted on that. However, Texas has came out with a new congressional map for the 2026 midterms that increases more Republican seats. So the Democrats argue that if you give us the power, we will redraw the map to counter what Texas's map looks like. So basically, just let Democrats redraw the map in favor of Democrats to gain more seats for them. That is basically what it is. I am predicting that this Proposition 50 will pass fairly easy. As you can tell with the polling, it's about 20 points for each poll. There's different polls that have it: Republican internals, Democratic internals, nonpartisans. They all show this proposition will pass. As a result of that, there'll be, if I'm assuming it does pass, my prediction is that it'll pass around 2015, in between 10 and 25 points. If this proposition passes, they will redraw the map to favor Democrats. Again, it's a response as Texas passed a new map that favors Republicans more. They would be targeting multiple Republican incumbents, such as it would be more at strengthening Democratic incumbents more so, but they would be Adam Gray would get more of a compact Democratic district. So would Josh Harder, George Whitesides, Derek Tran. Those are all Democrats who represent swing districts, and they are vulnerable, but they would get safer districts for them. There would be some Republican incumbents, such as Kevin Kiley, that would lose re-election because he would be gerrymandered out of his district. David Valadao of the 22nd district would be left competitive. Democrats should probably pick up around 5 seats with this new map. I think they'll target Darrell Isa's district and make the 25th district a little bit more bluer, so it's not competitive. So it'll be more of a Democratic leading map than it already is, just like Texas did with their map. It's basically what's happening with the California Prop 50. Next, moving on, is the New York City mayor's election. This will be very interesting. I think that the Democrat Zohran Mamdani will probably win by about 20 points, 15, 20 points, maybe 22 possibly. Who's running? We have, again, the Democrat Zohran Mamdani, who is an American politician who has served since 2021 as a member of the New York State Assembly from the 36th District, representing part of the Queensboro. He's the more progressive socialist candidate. And we have Curtis Sliwa, which found the Guardian Angels. He's also an activist and a radio talk host. He is the Republican running. And then Andrew Cuomo, which is the more establishment liberal. He is actually running as an independent because he lost the primary to Mamdani earlier this year, but he's now running as an independent. So he is expected to take some votes from Mamdani, but mainly from Sliwa. I think Curtis Sliwa and Andrew Cuomo will split votes against Zoran Mamdani. I still think he'll be able to win just because of how New York City is. So let's take a look at the boroughs over here. We have Staten Island. It's really the only Republican borough that we have. I think Curtis Sliwa will win. He'll get most of his votes from there. And I think Andrew Cuomo's only borough he'll win will be the Bronx. I think he's just he's popular there. He was actually able to win the Bronx during his campaign for the primary. You see, he did pretty well here, so I think he'll be able to round up his numbers here. And then I think Zoran Mamdani will win the other three more liberal boroughs. He'll win Queens, will do well with Manhattan, Brooklyn. So basically is how the election will go out. That is basically how it will happen. I just don't see Curtis Sliwa or Andrew Cuomo having the votes to win, because I think just New York City is a pretty Democratic city, but it's worth covering. And moving over to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court retention. This will be very interesting. You have three liberal justices, Christy Donahue, Kevin Dougherty, and David Wecht. There are three liberal justices wanting retention. They wish to be retained. They won in 2015. If you vote yes to them, they will be retained. If you vote no, then there will be a vacancy, and Democrat Josh Shapiro will appoint temporary judges to have to actually face an election. They would need confirmation from the Republican-led state Senate. Commonwealth, excuse me. So that is how things are turning out with these justices. We can have some information. We don't really have much polling, but you can see they did have one for each one. They had Christine Donahue, I believe. She is definitely favored to be retained. They show her ahead by 8. I think that's about it. I think she'll win probably around then. Pennsylvania is a swing state. No doubt about that. But I think that the momentum is on justices' side, because justices for retention very rarely ever lose those elections. So I think they're all favored. I think they'll all win in between 7 and 11 points. Kevin Dougherty as well. He should be able to win. How do I think that's going to turn out? Pretty similar. He's actually a lot more favored. He's up ahead by 9. I think they'll all be retained by about the same. You have David Wecht as well. He is also favored. As you can tell, he's up ahead by over 10 points. It looks like, it appears 13. So David Wecht should win by a little bit more. But basically, these judges should be retained. There's also other separate elections in public service commissioners in Georgia. I think I'll have a separate video coming out about that, because I don't have it pulled up right now, but those are statewide elected offices that are partisan, so there is a Republican and Democrat running. So I think I'll have a video up on that. But that is, basically how I think the election is favored. You got that. I'd say the most crucial one for these what do you call it, side elections, I'll just call it that. I think New York City is definitely a race to watch. I'll be watching it on election night. That is basically how the video is about. So hope you learned something from this, and I hope that you have a good day. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Join if you like to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.